Good day, Tamers. Top 16 here for you. A day later than it should have been, but after regionals, well, after World Cup, I was just dead. My eyes were a mess. Could barely talk. Was dry. Was falling asleep. Wife yelled at me. You know the usual things for a husband. But a day's been gone, so let's talk about the top 16. Forewarning, the event was really good, and there's going to be a lot of decks here that have their own like little spice, a little bit of tech choices, a little bit of uniqueness. A lot of these decks don't look that much similar in terms of like what their choices are, so I'm actually really happy to see like 16 decks that are all different slightly. There might be a few decks that have the same base card in, as in like the same like boss monster or same like named deck, but they actually all have like their own little like twist on things, and it goes to show you that even in a format where people are just like, there's only one deck, everything is terrible. No, it's not terrible at all. It's actually really good, and I think we should start off with Tamers. As you're well aware, I forget to do this very important thing as a YouTuber. I always forget to ask you to subscribe. Make this short 15 to 20 second little intro here helps me remind me to ask you to do me a big favour and subscribe. If you're new here, please do. If you've come back a few times, you obviously like or hate me, subscribe for more, and also leave a comment or a like. I think Digimon has probably one of the best communities out there currently in YouTube, and probably for the rest of history, so you always know that I get back to you as soon as you get back in with me. That's not dodgy. Back to the regular programming. Number 16. 16 place here. I know we do not put names in here, but I've had after last time I did put names in, people were going like, "Oh, I'm this person. Why don't you put me in the video?" So the answer is I can't win. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry, and if you do like it, I'm sorry. But here we go. So Marco here with Goading Numemon, 16th place. The reason why I'm calling it Goading Numemon is because you always see people constantly chucking down these monkeys like it was monkey business and monkey business alone. So that's what we have to go over. A lot of the Numemon decks now are essentially monkey business into ace and try and play off of that, especially the mirror matchup is very good at the whole, hey, you let me do this, I'll blow up all your stuff, you shouldn't do things, do not watch round 4 of today's event, and then we go from there. So, Sudamon and Togemon are just standard, we're not going to go over those for the rest of it. It's just a lot of on-deletion effects, or you digivolve a different Digimon, gain, draw powers, the exploding, and fun time stuff. Jesmon very good in this meta because there's lots of gaining memory outside of Tamers currently. So obviously you can see it's probably like a really good thing for a lot of people to currently work around and work into. Then we have Chikori. I think it's Chikori. Pronunciation is Chikori. Can't cheat on reduced cost of play, I believe it is. This is used, I think, question mark, against things like hunters. If it was around, I didn't see many hunters. I didn't really look it up. Red Trend has their own tournament center information. It's not exactly the easiest thing to kind of like walk into and find information on freely. So I'm gonna just say that there could have been some hunter players, but I didn't see any yesterday during our event. We did pop through a few different rooms, but again, we didn't see anything yesterday. 4 of the new Ukamon, the one that goes, hey, when I fall out of the breeding area, you can search. Actually, like a really good starter card. If you get this in your opening hand and you don't mind giving your opponent essentially turn 1, you do benefit quite a lot from this. 4 of the original Ukamons. This one here that obviously says when you move out you may gain a memory and then throw down a secondary Bebe, which again, fantastic card. Both of these are very good engine, and everyone who's playing like this here is like, look, it's a resource engine. Some decks don't have good searchers, some decks just don't have like a way of keeping up with the meta. These both put those decks in charge, like a deck like Numemon, where it actually has the space for these babies and rookies, because, yeah, it is what it is. Jerry over here, Jerry doing things, is probably my favourite thing you always hear me say, is like the archetypal, chuck one of my names in the bin, draw 2 cards. It's 2 for 2, it's just even advantage, and I think it's a really good Digimon to go for. No questions, no buts, no musts, just enjoy it, yeah? 3 of the BT16 Numemon. I like this personally, especially because they not playing any Satsuki, which is really weird because you generally want the combo to throw this down, insert a Satsuki, get rush, swing for game normally if you can have free memory on your turn, which is occasionally you do have that situation. 4 of the Numemon X. This is everyone's favourite bad boy right now, where you can play something with Numemon in name and not just Numemon on its own. Well, you play as 5-year wave, right? One of the other Jerrys, the yellow-black Jerrys, this has becoming more in at the moment. I'm not too sure if it's just a tech choice or if people are just falling back into it because they're enjoying it more. But it's generally either this one or the one or two of the RB1, depending on what people prefer. Again, it's like people's choices. Do the Jesmon, and Jesmon here, just the Goading monkey. He just throws on play or when digivolving, flip your opponent off, and they go to attack you because you flip them off because you know we're all civilized people here. 4 Montymon's X's because it's read the card is stupid. Just read the card. RB1 Montymon, probably the most expensive card in this here. If it wasn't for the fact that you have 2 of the most expensive boss monsters in the game currently here, although they are more situational removal cards than anything else. Then we have 3 of the Platinum Numemons, essentially here just because you get to play it off of X for free, and then you can just go into one of the end or be all monsters here. That makes life a living hell for your opponent. I mean, you know, you're a floodgate deck, kind of. You gotta slow your people down. 3 of the Valkyrie aces, because why goad somebody in if you're not gonna do something about it? 1 Venus. Venus is, again, slowing people down. I've had a lot of people say like Venus might just be out from now on and might just go 4 of the Valkyries and like none of the Venuses, because you generally get more advantage by essentially wiping your opponent's board and then getting to throw yourself into security and then being able to not pop swing, or if your opponent swings into security, you allow them to swing into security because they don't get popped. They flick a security card. You can't pop them in the return, but you then get security attack +1, and then that turns into 3 swings on the following turn because you get to pop the first security. It doesn't kill you. Pop again, and it's very good to just have security attack +2 for the sake of your opponent not being able to die, which is quite an interesting thing, to be fair. Good old Defx here, just holding down the 4 wide board, say no, and then Ruin Mode here, just basically being very good into the mirror match of just wiping all the 5 or lower. Although if it is on a turn where you was able to play this on your own turn and then go into this, it's minus 10k already, which is absolutely insane to say the least. 2 profiles because it gives you a chance of recovering security, better than the old one in that sense. 2 Empress because it is a punching back against the Ukamon's kind of meta right now, and then 2 Lose, so essentially get yourself out for on a off turn, which is again very effective and very powerful. Going now into 15th place here with Jesmon. I've been trying to make a video on Jesmon for like a month or so now because it's got like a really weird competitive history where it's a deck that should do really well into metas that you just want to be able to punch through your securities, your opponent's security like nothing else. But it just doesn't seem to be able to do that, and it's very surprising that that seems to be the case continuously with Jesmon. But I don't know what the eggs are for this. I've messaged the person who ran this deck what eggs were, because I've had to do all the Digimon card dev stuff to make it look a bit prettier. But Tom, if you see this video, please Tom, what eggs did you run? I was told by Alexa that you're playing this now as your main one because essentially the name of the game is to just get to your level 7 and just punch someone as hard as you can. Which is what it is, I don't blame you. I still like either Koro or Garymon, because like who's like draw power or draw power, but apparently no, they like the memory. I guess in this case it's because you do poop out a lot of stuff, and if you can get the memory back on your side, you can probably do a Chimera to just like end the game. Maybe that's possibly what people are thinking of. Sure, just been like one memory to go into it. But no, Jesmon looking very busy as it always does. Red-white deck essentially with some black splashes here. So we do 4 of the Searchers, 3 of the BT7 ones. I want to say this is the structure deck version, which is just when you place this one gain a memory. You have BT6 system on the Awakened version, which I don't think anyone played, but apparently they are. So I'm not too sure if this is because it's more of a case of just like getting the extra draw power off it, or if there is actually a reason for this. And then 2 for the structure deck, I believe that is. BT6 one, which is just, I think it's deletion effect, if you are in name. It's been a long time. This is the structure deck one, which is, I think, just DP. BT6. No. Yes. 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 No, you're BT6. Which one are you? Oh, confused now. That's the structure deck. That's BT6. We never have a system on. I gotta look this up now. Do 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 do. Killing time, oh yeah, oh yeah. Systemon, got it going on. Didn't work because it was unloaded. Systemon, 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 Systemon. Which Systemon are you? Which Systemon are you? Ooh, ooh, ooh. BT10. BT10. There you go. I thought that was one BT10. It came out at the same time as the structure they did. I don't know why I didn't think of that. It's BT10. You're playing the one of the Unspendy Boy. No problem with the Unspendy Boy. I would have thought maybe with the unlimiting of this, maybe you go like 2 and 3, but like 8, I didn't play it to like the best of my ability and get like 5, 2. Hello, phone. Chimera here. Oh, sorry, this is the structure deck one, which is sister stuff, right? We get to Digivolve if you've got a sister in play. Maybe Hook, Marv. No. If this Digimon has rolled out in its traits, you may play one sister. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so just let you play out the structure deck one, which then lets you go into your level 7 during the swing, because, you know, pew pew pew. Chimera, again, it's just because you have so many level 4s that should be sitting on the field, not doing anything after a certain amount of time, just suck them all up into one big creature and swing for game. Kanku X, everyone's favourite Chad. I believe this is here because it adds blocker to the deck, if it is, because I believe it, like, gains the effects of one of the excellent moves. Roll notes underneath it, and Kanku just goes, yo, I got blocker, yo. And you get to reboot and unsuspend or something like that. X Antibody apparently is just better than the other Jesmons, even though it's like the lowest DP Jesmon, same as the original Jesmon. We've only had 2 Jesmons, and this is the third one, Acer technically. GX is just a big boss monster that just goes, no, you can't. And then we have 4 of the, essentially, the training memory boost for the deck, which I believe is just a search the top 5 and throw everything in the bin that isn't a Systemon. Or it's like search like top 5, pick one of the cards if it's Roll Knight, Hookmon in name, or Systemon, and then I think bin the rest, which is not a terrible idea if you could suck up things from the trash, which you technically can with Chimera, but not necessarily anything else. Maybe one day we'll get a Jesmon on that's like half recursion from the trash. That's probably when we'll actually get the deck that actually wins the tournaments, which, you know, I'd look forward to that. Ooh, Yellow Vaccine by Draco. So, I just realised how terribly small this is for some strange reason. It's probably one of the ones that I didn't have to do. I think there was 2 that I didn't have to like make myself. This looks somewhat normal for what the current Yellow Vaccine scene is. Toke, Naya, that's what it gives you. Maybe it gets DP'd. Searchy Boy, which it makes sense because you don't really search much in this because you're already doing a little bit of searching. You're kind of cycling through your security as your searching ability, but that's not necessarily searching. Kuropatamok is a bum face. This is the ST3 pattern, I believe it is, so it does to DP reduction, you gain a memory. The idea of this is basically, this goes out, you put this one on top of it, it gives something minus DP, it dies, you gain the memory back, so it only costs you 2 instead of 3 in the end, so it keeps your turn. 9 times out of 10, I believe that's the plan. Both of the Rapidmon both of the Rapidmon level 4s, one of the Golden Vidramons because it's a vaccine, 3 of the Magna Aces, 3 of the Ace Angelwomans, 1 of the Venus, 3 of the Magna X's because it's a silly card, 3 of the Rapid X's, 1 Def X, 1 Ruin Mode because it can go on top of either of these things. This one here is obviously just slammed down the field, he's got a whiteboard against your opponent. 3 Messenger of Hope, 1 of the Awakening Knights, 2 Have a Judgment because it's the best green card. 3 physical, 1 of the U, because you go stick that underneath. You can actually stick it underneath Def X as well if you really wanted to. 2 of the original TKs, the memory sensors that search your security, and then 4 of the free cost BT14 TKs that just make your opponent cry once we get sent it back to security. It's like, look at the memory gains, oh yeah! Oh, one day this deck will get a slight hit, right? Right, maybe? Maybe. Alright, uh oh, we're breaking things here. Oop. Nope, that's not what I want. Do 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 do. Melting of the fly. There we go. As you can see, this is an armor deck. Unfortunately, I can't see the person's name here. This might have also been one of the ones that I grabbed, and that might be the last two that there were. This was 13th place. We have Numemon as the babies from BT16. We have the Searcher from BT12. We have the Promo, that is the Woods per turn, soft Woods per turn, remember this. You may digivolve into a free traded Digimon for reduced cost of reduce the cost by 1, which generally means that you go into these armor forms for a cost of 2, which is very, very good. Searcher from BT8, and then the new ones that when it looks at one of your lovely little friends over there, or something gets played by possibly the Davis over here, it will give you a memory back. You basically get a free memory, so if you play this if this is on the field and then Davis plays and you trigger the effect of Davis to play a secondary Vmon, you gain a memory, which is pretty good. Or when you one of these other ones digivolves, so it can turn one of these basically into a 1-cost digivolution, which is really good. SD17 probably the best of the level 4s because it just breeds like a custom card. Security, digivolve, battle. After the battle, you may digivolve on top of one of your free level 3s, digivolve for the cost of 0, and then you can remove sources from the top for every colour that your opponent's Digimon is. So, for instance, if it's a Magna X antibody, it doesn't have ignore your opponent's effects on it, you can strip 3 sources from it, and then you can bounce a card that has no sources back to hand. The Magna buff for BT13, which has like a pseudo armor purge, it explodes. As long as you're not going to get anything with piercing, it doesn't really matter too much. You can flicker this basically. If you've got the promo underneath it, you can flicker it, it goes back on the field. You can then get the effect to reduce the cost by 1 again, because everything's once per turn, soft once per turn, because it's a new body, so it's a new Digimon. The only 3 of the original ones, it's fine. Obviously, it can unsuspend itself when it digivolves if you've got a Vmon, which will be if you digivolve with this, you can unsuspend yourself, which is obviously really good if you want to like get some more plays going. And sometimes it's a case of like I kind of want my body to die too, so I can keep swinging. One of the Zudamons, which is really unusual because normally it's like 2 or 3 of these in this deck because you just want to be able to like constantly strip your opponent's sources and then get them back to hand. 4 of the Magna X antibodies because the card is also just crazy good. 2 of the Def X's, which is really weird because like most people just like play one off because it's just a kind of a dead card in hand if you can't really ever get it on the field. 1 of the Jesmon antibodies as like a finisher card, I believe this is. 2 Supergun punches because punch harder, punch faster. 2 blueberry boosts, although you do kind of miss some of the key cards here. 2 bloody rays just so you can trigger the effect of the moving security on your own turn. 2 of the Awakening of the God Knight, so you can get DP reduction ignorances. 2 Heaven's Judgment. 2 of the Shoes, because you're an X antibody, so you can trigger the effect. And then 4 of the Davises from the promo pack. Because it's a pretty good card, to be fair. And in a deck that wants to run Vmons, where you are just basically trying to keep Vmons on the field while trying to churn out the different bodies, it's pretty good. Also, because it triggers from security. It's also pretty good that when it's on play, especially if your opponent has no more plays to do and they can't really do anything to get rid of the stuff on the body, having bodies ready to swing is also just really, really good. Machinedramon, which is also really weirdly out of place. I could edit this out, but I probably won't because I'm lazy. Machinedramon, 12th place by Vit. I'm pretty sure we saw this versus Yar, one of our other casters' friends, during the event. I think it was like the second part of round 4 maybe, or it was the second part of like round 5. I'm sure if yours in the comments, he'll be like, yeah, this was this round where you watched me die. And it's like, thanks, guys. Caster's curse, right? It's true. It's a real thing. Interesting jet choices of the babies. The BT15 Meramons are a May effect, by the way. So those that you are like, oh, I have to trash the card if I got your hand. You don't have to. It is a May effect. And then the Koromon there is because you do run a lot of red-sourced or red-bodied Digimon. So you will have the case occasionally of to be able to go, look, I'm going to swing, I can get to draw a card, and a deck like this where there's lots of red cards, if you do need to just swing with like a level 5 is possible. Both of the Ukamon's game conference before, just basically a search engine, because there's not really great searches there currently, kind of. And then the original promo one is just there to essentially keep pushing out like as a speedy recovery, because you got 2 choices here. You can either build up as a wall, you can try and go as fast as you can, want to have the best of both worlds, or you can Play one of the Mercury. Mercury here is literally just here as a way of swinging for game on top of one of your Tamers. You have most expensive promo for the deck currently, Mr. Rarebon, which is a fairly good card. I'm pretty sure it's a case of like on play or when Digivolving you may trash a card, trash a machine or sideboard in hand and then draw 2 cards. So essentially it's one of those archetypal gaining things while trashing things. 2 of the BT16 Machinedramons, which is essentially a searcher for cyborgs and machines, as well as SOCs, and I want to say Marvin, but Marvin's not in this deck because they use the tie. Tie's fine. It's just I probably would have picked the Marvin because I actually like the Marvin. Gigdramon here, which is here for the inherited effect of gaining 2000 DP. Metal Numemon, I think, is here for it removes free cost Tamers. I think it is. It could be wrong. One of these does, I believe. Yeah, I know this one does. Soldiermon, I think it's if you have a black Tamer in play, you gain DP on all turns. This is here for blocker. This is here for blocker. This is here for bound to swing into your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. Tamer removal. When I delete one of your opponent's Digimon, I can strip sources. Strip a security. Strip a security. More DP. More DP? This is either DP, security attack, or Tamer removal, because my brain's gone dead now thinking of what the EX1 one does. 4 of the machines, as Elixir said yesterday, the slam variant, which is definitely the slam variant, we just throw it down and beat around. That's why you are running so many level 5s in compared to everything else now, because you're only running a very small package of like non-level 5s, so essentially you're only running 8 rookies, you're running 2 level 4s, so that's just 10, and then what's this, like 20 cards? 2, 4, 6, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. So you're running 15. 15 used to be the actual number, to be fair, so I don't know if it's a case of we've still just gone back to the 15. But I don't think you normally ran 4. I think you used to do 3 of these. And I don't think you always ran 4 of these either, because I think you went 2. But yeah, that's probably what it is now. You're just trying to like max out the cards that are just going to push the game to game. So yeah, 4 of these from EX. One which is when you throw it down the field, you can suck up 5 sources, and if you do, you can gain 5 memory back. Chaos X Antibody is just a card that just says nope, you don't play in the game. Chaos Dramon, I believe, is also just about this. This is the one that people use the most. I don't think it's the one that's non-bouncing. I think that's the BT7 or 8 one, which is awful, but EX3 is much better. 1 Def X because again, wide boards, get rid of them. 4 of the heavy metal mobile machines. The card essentially just says, hey, all of your machine type Digimon gain rush and blitz until the end of turn if you trash a machine or cyborg, right? 4 of the Analog Man, which is essentially here as your memory gain and cards rotations. So you trash a cyborg or machine in hand, you draw a card, gain a memory, and then you can put one underneath the deck to make it go into your opponent, your Digimon, make one of your opponent's Digimon come into you, which is a pretty good thing, really. Then ST15 tie here. I think it's when something changes direction, so when you block or when your opponent raids or whatever, you can draw a card. And then, what's I say? 2? I can't say. 3 of the Emperors, because again, you're trying to slow down any deck that wants to use these as a resource, and if you get like 2 or 3 of these in the field, your opponent just doesn't ever get to push out of the breeding area. On to 11th place. 11th place is Goading Numemon. Again, a lot of these do look very similar in terms of like it's a Numemon package, but they all do have like little like tech choices. For instance, this one also has a Rapid X antibody as well as a Trident, which I thought was a really interesting tech choice. But again, babies are the same. Tumons and Chikiri, these just change like the numbers basically. Sometimes they're like 1 or 1s, sometimes they're 2 and 2, sometimes they're 3 and 1. So that's the only thing that's going to really be differences these, and then like the Numemon differences. Like you see the Jerry and the Numemon from BT14 the same. Instead of having the other black and yellow Jerry, they decided to change that to the RB1 Numemon, which is fine because I think they're even interchangeable, and I think that they serve a different purpose while also still being just as good as each other. 2 Emma, which seems to be the classic number now. 4 and 4, 3, 3. Instead of having a Venus, they've gone for the Rapid. Everyone knows what Rumor does. Trident is quite an interesting thing here, where it was being looked at being used in Machinedramon for a little bit. But as you can see here, it's now being used in Numemon. Why not? Although 6 cost is quite high. 2 of the excellence buddy. Again, this is in case like your stack goes boom boom, and you can just put this back in security. Slow down your opponent by 1 or 2 little punches, and then 2 lose here just to be able to force out the off turn push once again. Going into number 10, it's Mirage Goading. Who saw this coming? Somebody saw it coming. So they have actually changed up their decks a little bit. I found it really funny that KT was like, "Ah man, like people don't need to run Betamon anymore because you have the new one." It's like people still run it, right? And then like the first thing we saw that was played afterwards in the breeding area, I think was like Betamon. It's like, see, I'm not a liar, I swear. Apparently they're only running 1 egg because absolute Chad. I'm not sure if this is me missing the other babies or if this is actually what they played. I just didn't pay attention to it at the time. I will presume they played 4 babies. It would be one of these and then 3 of the Wanya, but it could also be the Demi-Vemon variant now because a lot of them are a bit scared about hitting things in security. So having 16k journey puts you over 90% of a big threat in security. 4 of the Goading, because it's just a resource engine. If the set goes boom boom, you just get to put it out and go, nope, no thank you. 2 of the betas, because you want more jamming in it as much as possible. And then 4 of the on play, both people draw a card, which is obviously a way for you to continue playing the OTK game. 1 Lana, 2 of the play a Thomas, 4 of the hey, I now have jamming, as well as the when Digivolving make you draw a card with your opponent. 2 of the when Digivolving return level 3 to the hand, I believe that one is. 1 of the BT11 Galgas, which I'm not really sure what his heritage effect is. That actually, I'm not going to guess what it is. I'm not sure what the heritage effect is. 3 of the BT13 ones. The reason for this is now because it's no longer unblockable, so you can't make it change direction. So you can't goad it in. You can't. Sorry, rephrase it. You can goad it, but you can't block it. You can't block it. You can't redirect it. 2 of the Zudamons, because source stripping is still just fantastic in this meta. 1 of the EX Force, because it's the best one. 4 of the BT11s, because it's mandatory. 3 of the merciful mode, 3 of the burst modes, because OTK is always a chance. 1 ice wall, 2 full metals, because as you may have seen, like the meta is very wide again. Full moon, in my opinion, is very good for like the big stack decks, but this is generally something you need to get rid of in terms of those damn Numemons. It's also really good if you've got multiple things on your opponent's side of the field, because if they are running like 2 level 4s or a level 3, a level 4, a level 6, this thing just wipes out the opponent's board. 4 of the Blueberry Boost, because we've got a dig and we also got a game memory. 4 of the Tregs, because we got dig specifically for Tamers maybe. And then 3 of each Tamer, which is just the industry standard at this point. 9th place is Luga. Why is this thing doing this now? God damn. Darn you, Luga. As you can see, different variety, and I'm going to say this now, all the Luga decks we have going forwards are all somewhat different from each other. So, playing the usual Balmon as the egg, because, you know, why not? It's pretty much the best egg. Looking into BT17, I do still think this is the best egg for most of the builds that you want to play. 4 of the original Lugas, 3 of the new Lugas from BT15, 4 of the hey, oh no, it cost me 1 to basically get a free search next turn, 3 of the Lugas from BT14, 4 of the BT15 ones, 1 Black Cat because I want to finish the game off, 3 Tyrannas because it's just very good at searching for SOCs, 2 of the Hell, 2 of the Soul, 2 of the New Soul, 2 of the Donut Bees because, surprise, surprise, a lot of your Digimon are purple, but 2 of them are also red. 4 of the Fenris because it's essentially your only boss monster. 1 Defex because it's the best way to get rid of wide boards. 3 Memory Boosts because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of your Digimon are purple, leaving only 1 that isn't purple. 4 Wisdom Trainings because everything besides Analog Youth and Ukamon is purple. 4 EGs because you need to see EGs to make the deck work. And then I believe it's 3 of the Analog Youths because Analog Youth is just a purple card disguised as a white guy. Going now into 8th place, it's Loogamon. Who would have saw this coming? Probably not no one, because Loogamon hasn't been doing so well in other regions as far as I'm aware. The difference here is there is no white baby boys, but there is a Gazi as well as a new inclusion in the Darugamon from BT16. Obviously, it is an SOC. It's also a negative antibody. It's also purple. So he gets to do the things it wants to do. 2 of these into 4 of the BT14, into 4 of the BT15, into 3 of the Tyrannomons from BT15, 2 Hell, 2 Soul, 3 Soul from the BT16 set. I am surprised that Hell is actually starting to see play at just 2, because it's just basically your best removal sources from the game. 2 Chimera, because it's more generic than it is for Dino B, despite the fact that you are running a lot of purple red coloured cards again, but at the same time you don't want to miss and have 2 purple cards on the field and then have the Daruga on the field and not be able to get it out. Although, to be fair, Chimera is going to be there generally as a finisher at the end of your turn, so you can just basically pick anything you want. And in the case of Dino B, you probably would also just make sure you have access to the colour sources. 4 of the Fenrir, because once again, it's your only boss monster. We have access to 4 of the Wisdoms, because everything that you really need is purple besides your option cards. And Chimera, because Chimera's that's that guy. 2 Crimson Blaze. Yeah, 2 Crimson Blazer. Again, wide format to try and get rid of things. This also helps with people who don't really want to try and dig out a Death X at this point in the game's lifestyle, especially when we know Christmas time will be bringing us Death X's for everyone in our Christmas stockings. 1 Protoform. Again, I presume this is more just to slow down your opponent, so they have to have that extra hit in into security. 4 Edges again, that's all your combo plays. And is it free? It is a free of the purple white guy, Mr. Analog Youth. Going now into number 7. Number 7 is a Loogamon. Yeah, all the Loogamons seem to be next to each other today. They've all got the same score, I believe. I believe they all went 6-1. Question mark or 6-1. Sorry, 5-1. As you can see here, this is very similar to the original list here, but we do have some changes up here. We have only 2 of the red boys, but we do go for 3 of the Ukas. 4 of the 3, 1 of the cats, 3 of the Tyrannos, 3 of the Hell, because again it's your best form of removal, 4 of the Soul Luga from BT16, because the old one apparently is a poopy face, 2 of the Dino B ones, because Dino B one is the GOAT, and the fun thing about him is if the other one is in trash, you can just bring it back with the second one, and give it rush, and it can attack. 4 of the Fenris, again literally your only boss monster, 1 of the Death X's, because whiteboards say yeah. 3 of the purple reboost, because most of your cards here are purple for the Digimon. Wisdom of Trading 4, because again most of your cards here are purple besides the Uka, in this case the Crimson, and the fake white boy looking purple guy over here. 1 Crimson Blaze, because whiteboards go boo bye bye. This also just helps with Numemon matchup more than anything else, because when you nuke out their X antibody, they can't bring back a platinum. Then we have access to the EG again, 4 of these guys, because at the same time you need this to make your plays work, you need the alliance. And then 4 of the purple analog use here, because this guy is masquerading as a white guy, and we all know he's purple. Going over now to 6th place, which is Gio Bernardo, last week's 2nd place runner-up. Mr. Bird Up, for those of you who don't know, Bird Up is probably like one of my favourite offshoot rogue decks, because it's just, it does things that no other deck does, and it doesn't make sense why it does, but it's a very, very good deck. And if you've not had a chance to play it, or you don't have someone at your locals that has Bird Up as like their main deck, look into it. It's really fun. It's a thinking person's deck, because you have to figure out your triggers, and you obviously want to sequence it correctly, especially if you're playing tournaments, because obviously you can't miss sequence things, because you don't want to get in trouble. So the BT15 Yukamon, which I believe is when on deletion you can bring back a red bird, avian, or giant bird, but basically bird words, if you have a tamer, and then it triggers the effect of Sora. Sora goes back to hand, you play something for free, and basically the whole thing is basically just looping birds back onto the field. If you watched the game versus Jambo, so it was Gil versus Jambo, I think it was turn 3 or turn 4, basically the stack went boom, and then all of a sudden you just watched the board get covered in birds, because that's literally what this deck wants to do, and it's really good. The searching for the deck, On play BT16 Biomon, I'm gonna pass. I can't remember what this does. This one I think it is you draw a card if you attack. I believe it is. This is blocker. This I'm surprised this is in here because it's not a vaccine, so you can't like do the trigger the vaccine stuff. But I think that might be more of the BT13 side of the game. Although this is BT13, so I don't know about. This is EX1. Is this one also drop out? I have to look at bird up stuff. Right, so Birdra. So we have this, which is the blocker, which is on deletion you may play one red Tamer card from play goes to 4 or less from your hand without paying the cost. This is the BT11 one. This also just lets you play Sora. The idea is that essentially you just rotate rounds, you pop a Sora, get your effect to play the Digimon, then do the undeletion of this to play the level 4, play the Sora again, and you just want to rotate constantly. It's a really good key card for the deck. Not everyone's going to be too interested though. So for this Birdramon we have when this Digimon attacks a player, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DPS. Pretty good for getting bodies off the field. Not great massively into something like Numemon because obviously you don't really want to give them their effects for free. But at the same time, it does get rid of like a lot of small bodies, which does help against other decks. For instance, decks that are playing their rookies out for free, they don't go back to hand if they're dead. So that's some smart stuff there, right? And then I think they play, was it this Birdramon, which is from BT15. When you do return one red card with the avian, bird, beast, animal, or sovereigns other than sea animals into one of its traits from the trash of the hand, which again triggers the effect of, I believe, Sora. Then your turn when a card is removed from your opponent's security, gain a memory, which is obviously very good because you do gain Blitz from Phoenix X. So if you go Blitz, possibly go to your opponent's turn, whack into this. As long as it is a Digimon, you will gain the memory first before you go boom, and then Phoenix X antibody, it's all the undeletions become end of turn triggers instead. So if you don't die, you trigger all your deletion effects. If you do die, you trigger all your deletion effects. And that's where things get really scary because this deck just goes, hey, I don't care if I live. I'm just going to do what I want to do. Which is either die miserably into a fire, or die miserably into a fire, or throwing the fire at you. So, yeah, but really, really good deck. Really do recommend people getting into it because it's shockingly good. Saberdramon here, I believe in last week's list. Why is this gone crazy again? What are you going crazy for? I believe in last week's list, Jill did run this at 2 of. Maybe they found that having the 2 of wasn't really that good. I think maybe the Birdramon might be a new inclusion. We have the blocker from Goading over here. Garudamon over here. Having 4 of these, I'm going to say this now because I've got one right in front of me. I'm going to read it off the card for you. Digivolve for Garudamon for 0, and then on play with Digivolve, you may return 1 red Digimon card from your trash to the hand. Then, if Garudamon or X antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. Now, I believe for the most part, you aren't really running much DP increase in this, so you are literally popping 8Ks, which is essentially 5 or lesses. But that's not nothing to like shake a tail over at. You also have your turn return. If a red card is returned from the trash to your hand, one of your Digimon gets rushed for the turn, which is really, really good if you've been able to play a card with the Sora effect. Sora effect, I do believe, is the when card returns to hand, you may play a level 4, so go level 3. So giving the level 3 rush is really good because hey, swinging for security, you don't really care, you just want to win. And then everyone knows what Valkyrie does. Valkyrie's just, you want to fight me? Fine. Watch this. 1 wings, 1 blaze. Again, this is really just for new ones where you just basically burn the field, salt the field of ash, and then they just don't get to play the game anymore. At least for the turn, which will put you in a really good position to fight back. 2 of the red berry boost because you got to search for things, and all of your Digimon are at least red. 4 of the offensive because Tamers red and your option cards are red. 2 of the regular X antibodies. This I presume is because you want to swing with like one of the Garudamons and go into this, or you swing with Phoenix and then go into X. Possibly because you know that you want to get the extra draw power, or you want the on deletions just in case you were going to explode instead. Proform again, I think it's just the only way you can really sort of slow down your opponent if they are pushing you back, because you obviously do get to put it on security. Goes back to hand. You get to do that little dance for a little bit to try and like, slow down the game. And then 3 Soras because possibly you need 3, or possibly because like the deck is really tight for space, and with the incursion of maybe the Protoform, you are looking at having only 3 instead of 4. most people who will probably watch this, because a lot of people do kind of like to see how I discuss like their decks, will probably come and put things in the comments and be like, hey, yo, I'm such and such. This is my choices why I did these things, and nothing is wrong so far. Everything I've really liked. Bird Up is fantastic. All the Luga stuff is really fantastic. All the Numemon players having a slightly different like variation is fantastic. The fact that everyone is thinking for themselves and actually be able to play their own variants of decks is just really impressive to me. So, Jill, thank you very much for this Bird Up deck, and I've spoken about it for like 5 minutes on its own or 10 minutes on its own. We're going to go into 5th place now, and that is a Armor deck. Now, you know me, I'm Mr. Armor at the moment because Armor's really cool, but I believe this was the person who was in the final game versus the winner. And yeah, they went from essentially first or second place to 5th place, which I hate the fact that happens in tournaments. I don't know why you don't get second for basically only losing to the winner, because in my opinion that's probably where you should be. If the only person you lose to is the winner, you should be second. Slight variation to what we've seen of Armor so far. So we are playing 4 of the Demi V-Mons, the ones that if you are 2 colours or more, you do gain 1000 DP, which does come up occasionally. 4 of the Surgy Boys, 4 of the Promos, 3 of the free traded Surgy Boys, I think this is, 3 of the new V-Mons that gives you the DP all turns, as well as the reduce the cost of one of your fellow V-Mons, or fellow V-Mons being played by gain a memory for it, sorry. 4 of the best level 4 Armor one, Mr. DG Javolvi Girl. 3 of the Armors, sorry, 3 of the fake Armor Purges, 4 of the Big Boy Blockers, 2 Zudo, 4 of the Super Duper Mega Magna X, 2 Defexes. I don't know why Defex times 2 is getting more common, but I've got a funny feeling a lot of people are just like putting one to the bottom and be like, I'm fed up with putting it to the bottom. I gotta get a second one. 2 of the Zugon Punches, because why would you want a Fire Rocket when this is better? And basically your finisher card. 1 of the Full Metal, because there's no reason why you wouldn't want to play this. It's a really good card. 2 of the Memory Boost, because the V engine is blue. Let's put it that way. 1 Blinding, because pop your own security, gain abilities. 2 Knights, because DP reduction kills my soul. 2 Heavens, because it's the best green card. 1 Shoe, because X antibodies. 1 Davis for searching. I mean, yeah, you don't really need more than 1 or any. It's also a memory setter, so you know if you get it in security, it's actually pretty good. And then 4 the promos, because essentially these just basically become live wires in your hand, and gaining 1+ memory per turn is just really good. And you'll be surprised how many times your opponents will go like, you gain memory? It's like, yeah, I'm like 7 memory now. They're like, what? It's like, yeah, I can pretty much go from my V-Mon into this and still be on my turn. And they're like, oh. It's like, yeah. Anyway. Scary time. But thank you very much for this, Benedict. It was it was really fun to watch the final game, to be fair. And it could have gone either way. And the only reason why we stopped kind of like cheering for Benedict is because the first place person was absolutely crazy. And when we get to that deck profile, you guys are going to be like, holy why? 4th place, Goading Numemon. Goading Numemon is the new best variant of Numemon for those who aren't really into the scene currently, or are looking to get into maybe something like this. I would say this is probably the best deck in the format, question mark. It's just the fact that it's one of the more expensive ones to get into currently. Despite the fact this being all of up till like a couple of, well, basically last format, a rogue deck. You are spending lots of money to get this to work. You know, these are like essentially £100 plus for a playset. Room modes are like 70+ each now. If you're playing the Defex variant as well, they're, I think, cheapest version like 45. So it's one of the more expensive decks to play, despite the fact it would have been considered rogue not too long ago. So babies we always look at, as I said about the Chews, the Kikiris, they always just change the amounts of running 4 of each, because it makes sense. You know, you got your memory gains, you got your continuous plays, you got your searches. Probably the best card of the deck, really. The whole like get your engine going by putting things in the trash. 3 of the Numemon, 4 of the X antibodies, because you're running it. 2 of the Numemon RB1s, 2 Goading Boys, 4 of the X's, 4 of the Big Johnny Bears, 3 Slimes in a bear suit, right? 3 of the Numemon Platinums, 2 of the Aces. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I do think people are very much keen to sort of like keep the Venus variant going, but the issue is she doesn't ignore Aces on your opponent's turn. So if you ever swing and the ace goes active, especially if you go into something like Imperial, where you just go, okay, I'm going to drop fighter mode, they just go, oh, crap. and then they just don't get to do anything about it. 2 of the room modes because preference, I guess. I think it's more the fact like you just know that Numemon's probably be very bountiful in the meta, and you just care more about DP minusing continuously. So if you get 2 of these up at the same time, which is possible to be fair, it might just be a case of that, and then your opponent just goes, oh crap, for a turn, everything's minus 10,000 DP, nothing gets to be replayed, your opponent just gets took out of the game. 2 of the X antibodies, which is kind of fine. I think a lot of people are getting more into these now because they look at more of a lifesaver than a proto play card, unlike what the other X antibody is. So I do quite like this in decks compared to the X antibody. If you're in a deck that wants to fight a lot more, it makes more sense to go into that variant. But no, this one is more of a playing it where you can. 3 of these Atsukis, which makes so much sense because you're playing 3 of these. You want to, like, you know, combo it out. And then 2 of the Emperors. I always like to see these with a Satsuki, but let's see 3 of these and no Satsukis. It makes very little sense to me because the idea for this is that you want to get to be able to rush that turn. But thank you very much, Gary, for this one. Going now over to third place deck. Third place deck is Mirage. Very similar to what we've been seeing currently, although people are starting to take in Hammer Sparking into decks, which to me seems really strange, but I think people are feeling more, they are one memory away from playing the game or winning the game, and I think that's where people are just getting unstuck now. So, 1 of the Bukas, 1 of the WVs, if you put it as 8 cards and handle more, I think it's the ST8 one, you gain extra 1000 DP, which again is more the fact like you're swinging into security or swinging over things to make things a bit easier for yourself. 1 of the Searchy Boys, which is very unusual because most people hate the Searchy Boy. 2 of the Goemons because it's recursion. 3 of the Gemmy Boys. 4 of the Combo Enablers. 1 of the Lana ones just to swing for game. 2 of the Thomases. 3 of the Gemmy Boys. 3 of the Bounce Back to Hand. Digivolving. Good damn. 3 of the EX13 because you can't block me. 3 of the Zudamons because it's source removal and it's really good at getting rid of aces and getting your memory back. 1 of the EX4s because it's limited to 1. 4 of the X antibodies because 4 of the BT11s because it's the best one. 1 of the BT13s because occasionally you actually want to have something that's Tamer hate. 3 of the burst modes because combo enabler and OTK potential always available. 1 ice will slow your opponent down for a turn. 4 of the memory boosts. 4 of the trainings. 1 hammer spark, and then 3 of each Tamer, as that is the standard we've come to. Second place is Numemon. Woo! We did it, guys. Woo! It didn't come first. That's what I can say. It did not come first. As you see again, the difference here is just the choose and the Kukuris are just different numbers. We are playing 4 of the Numemons from BT14, which is probably a more usual thing here. Playing 1 of the RB1s, 2 Goadies, 2 Bears, 3 Slimes in the Bear Suit, 3 Numemons, 3 of the Aces, 1 of the Venuses, 1 Defex, 1 Room Mode, 2 X-Protos, 2 Satsukis, and 2 Lus. This is probably the variant that I'd probably be more looking to play if I was to play Numemon. I don't really like the deck anymore because it does just become this like really weird, grindy, slimy deck. Just pun not intended. But like I love Valkyrie Ace, so anything that's got like Valkyrie Ace or that can abuse the monkey, it's a good deck in my heart. But it's not the best deck. The best deck is going to. Oh, sorry. Also, thank you, Barry, for this deck. You did very well from second. Congratulations. Enjoy your Crimson mode. And then first place is the Imperial Pile. Yusuf, I don't know what you were doing. I don't know if it came to you in a dream. I don't know if you found out the stairs, you hit your head. This thing is insane. And please go watch KNT's video of this last round because it is absolutely insane. Game 1, just forgot triggers and then just scooped. Game 2, no cards in deck, took it back. And then the final game was just like, this is how you play like this pile of cards. So we played the original boy, which is if you've got jamming when you swing, you get to draw a card, which hasn't been standard for a long time. 4 of the Search Voice from BT12, 1 of the promo boys because, I mean, I like to get things reduced cost, right? If you get this, if you have 2 of the Davis and Kent, you get to play this and the other Wormmon. Basically, the interaction is it costs you 1 to go into the stink or whatever you want to go into, and then it costs you 1 to go into the other thing because they both cost 2, I believe it is, to go into the correct names. So, for the cost of 2, you get to go up into 2 4s, go into your level 5 and start just causing havoc. 4 of the searches, so basically you're running 8 searches, 4 combo pieces, 4 of the BT12, 1 of the Togetsu Megimon has blocker, which actually came, I think, at least in this game. 1 of the BT16s that say, hey, when you pop me out of the sources, so it got me dealing in battle, which is obviously really good into security, or if you're going to crash into your opponent's Digimon, looking at you, Digimon. 4 of the Stigmons with piercing, because you kind of just want to crash into your opponent as much as possible. 2 of the draw power ones. 4 of the brand new Imperial ones that just say, hey, ho, let's go. 3 of the original Imperial ones that just say, punch it out, punch it now. 2 of the aces of fighter mode here, because it's just a good card. It's a really good card. 1 of the BT16 Imperial fighter modes, because it's just a bridge, right? 2 of the ST9 Dragon modes, because it just says, hey, make more level 5s, basically. 1 of the Blitz Omnimons, because that thing's been good for 3 years at this point now, and it's just probably one of the best finishes in the game. 3 Hammer Sparks, because it's back, baby. 2 of the Invincible Dragon Insect Fusions, because for the cost of 3, flip off your opponent. 1 of the HPDs, because it's back, baby. Just, there's green stuff in this, alright? 1 blue card, because why not? If you can't find your cards, dig 5 deep, right? 2 of the Searcher Davises, because it's probably the best blue team we still have, as well as the fact that he searches 2 cards in the deck, essentially. And then 4 of the brand new BT16 Davis and Kens, because it just says, drop your hand on the field and watch your opponent cry about it. So, Ultimate Cup, June 22nd, Raid and Trade. This is your overall winner. Joseph, congratulations, you earned it. You played out your brain in that last round. And what a tamer. We'll catch you guys soon. Peace out. Goodbye. Play the game. Mwah. Ciao for now.